Trying to live life with only one thumb.
What happened?
I cut the whole tip of my thumb off the other day.
Oh, no. You're not even in a cooking job anymore.
Yeah. It's funny because I was making some pasta sauce from scratch. I've been growing some basil and thyme, and I just had some extra time the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some actual like beef shin bones. I'm gonna cook it down, make a stock, and then make like a nice from scratch meat sauce. I'm talking like I hand peeled the tomatoes and everything.
Okay.
Thing was going great until it was time to cut the basil. And at that point, I always do the same thing. When I always get close to the end, I'm like, hey man, you better be careful. You better be super careful because you're getting to that point where you may end up doing something to your thumb. And sure as shit, the second that thought went through my head, I just ka-chonk right through the tip of my thumb. I cut the tip of my nail and the thumb off. They're both kind of hanging there.
No.
I did the only reasonable thing that I could think of and just kind of placed them back on and just kind of patted them on there. I can show it to you if you want. It's not as gnarly as it sounds at this point.
Bring it up to the camera. I'm sure everybody wants to see that. Ooh! Ooh, got a little tip there. Got a little tip.
Yeah, the whole tip there. Yeah, just the tip. That whole tip there, it's all like cut through. Like, you know how you're like your thumbnail is attached to your skin underneath it. Like that skin is attached to the nail piece that got cut off too. So it's all one single piece.
Oh no.
And the worst part about it too is it's the same thought that goes through my head every single time is not, oh my God, ow, pain. That comes later. The one that hits immediately is, I know I'm better than this. You stupid, stupid idiot. How could you do this?
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I mean, not awesome. It's awesome. That's your response.
Sauce turned out good, though.
Yeah, a whole lot of blood in it.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Literally.
Vampire stew.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good. It's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zach Wright with Old Man Gaming, and you, dear listener, have decided for whatever reason to tune into another Horrible Gaming Podcast. But I am not alone, and mostly I'm never alone. With me is, even though we didn't expect him,
I lied to you all, apparently. Neil, a.k.a. Tiny Wizard.
We've said it before, we'll say it again. Our hypocrisy knows no bounds. Yes, Neil is here to do the show with me, even though he informed me he wasn't. Even though I limed up my wife to do a show early this morning with me, Neil decided, I could do it. Okay, cool. So we're doing it.
It kind of worked out anyways because
worked out.
Yeah, we were trying to set something else up for the other day, and then like I apparently don't know how to send messages in Facebook. And then even today, like the whole reason why I was planning on not being here for this normal, because we record on Sundays, is there's a fair going on near me and we go every single year. And we have not had rain in Ohio for the past month and a half. And go figure.
Today's the day, baby.
Today is the day that Ohio, the entire state, is covered in rain.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Here I am.
I actually looked at my wife and I was like, I love doing this with Neil. He's a cherished friend. He always will be, but even when he's doing the right thing, somehow it's pissed me off. Like, because he sends me, I get the message, because, see, I had asked him to tell me whether he could do it or not before Saturday, And then
Yeah.
we would do it Saturday instead of Sunday. And I did not hear from him, which meant I just assumed that he could not do it. But we were going kind of out of town to a very country area where my reception is not so great. And even if it is, I can't have my phone around me. Like, it's like a camper and lake. So, like, I don't, like, really carry my phone on me while I'm there. So get back in the car to head home. And lo and behold, there's a message. Hey, I thought I had sent this days ago, but I could totally do tonight. And I was like, well, that's funny. Because I now cannot. But it's all good. It's all good. We got him here today. Well, but because of that, we didn't really plan out a show. We're going to just do some casual stuff. Hope you guys are okay with that. I'm sure it'll spiral into, well, let's face it, some kind of argument. But
as it is wont to do.
But before we get into that, we got to thank a couple people. Number one, behind our ugly mugs, you're seeing a custom graphic. That's provided by Mr. Mark Bell. He does all of the custom graphics here on Old Man Gaming. And, of course, the theme song. The man who makes the music. My brother, Nick Van Sliders. He does all the theme songs for everything on Old Man Gaming. Thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment. That's fan interaction. That's where we, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans, and all the places where we find them and see them and all that fun stuff. So, we had some comments. Let's get into it. First, Jason goes, I seriously don't get Fall Guys. All right, Jason, it's a game where it's like a battle royale, but it's a mini game where a bunch of guys, you just run, you jump, and you try to be the first to somewhere, or you try to stay on something longer. There you go. That's it. That's all it is. Hope that helped. I don't know if that's what he meant, but that's Fall Guys. That's what it is.
You know, you brought up something, and I think that we should investigate, because we've been doing Halo,
Okay.
you, myself, and Kayla for so long, and you brought up how fun it would be to try Fall Guys, all three of us.
Yeah.
I think that we should try to do that the next time we line something up.
We really should. I don't know how exactly we'll do it, but we should definitely try.
I don't know either. Yeah,
well,
I'd have to do some researching. Is there
it's
a
just
crossplay?
I think so. If it has crossplay, we're fine, because you can put her on the Xbox. It's on Xbox,
Right.
and it's free to play now because of... Yeah, it's free to play now. So, like, you could put her on the Xbox. You could get on the PlayStation one, and or I'm sorry, the PC one, and then I could get on my PC. Plus, it's on Switch too now. So, like, we could definitely do it somehow. It's just I don't know how good the crossplay is, but I would love to do that with you guys. That would be a lot of fun. Jason then says, "You will own nothing, and you will be happy." That's how it works. Welcome to society.
That's the road that we're headed down.
Yeah, America. Jason then continues, they make this shit because people buy this shit. They sell this shit at these prices because people buy this shit at these prices. I mean, exactly. That's why I keep urging people to not buy this shit at these prices. To not buy this shit at all. Just buy the game. That's what you're doing here. Buy the game. All the accoutrement, you just don't need it. It's silly and ridiculous to me. Plus, it allows them to like really jack stuff up more than it needs to be. So yeah, that's my thought process on it. All right. Jason then continues, the rise of the mega corporation, increased executive melding, and the pushing of bizarre decisions to do weird things that make no sense. I mean, I can't argue with that. Can you argue with that?
No, not at all.
A lot of bizarre things in games right now that just make absolutely no fucking sense. At least to me. Maybe I'm just a curmudgeonly old guy who doesn't understand the way the world works. But, I mean, I am. I'm a curmudgeonly old guy who doesn't understand the world works because I'm too old. Like, once you hit, like 38, you start to not understand how things work anymore. I've just noticed that. Like, you just start to become the past.
A little personal story here. I was at work the other day, and some lady came up to me and asked me how to make a TikTok. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, you're young. You should know. No, ma'am. I'm younger. I'm 32. I don't know. What about me makes you think that I know how to make a TikTok? She kept pushing it to him like, lady, go, I don't know. Ask a teen somewhere. I'm sure you've got a niece or nephew that knows how to do this stuff.
Yeah, I don't get that shit. And I get farther and farther removed. And there was a point where I was like, this is as far as I'm willing to go down this track. And then once you start making those decisions, you become out of touch. Like at first it's like, this was a good decision. And then you realize like 2 years in, you're like, I don't know what the fuck anybody's talking about anymore.
These other things are predicated on other things that you don't know anything about it. And from there, you have to learn about all these other things to be able to do it.
Right, and it's a young man's game. Like, I'll be honest, it's a young man's game. Like, I don't have the patience or time to invest in just staying up on pop culture. I can't. So, like, the world slowly passes me by. But I've said this repeatedly. The world that we lived in as, like, adults, slowly edging towards old, is a completely different world than the world our parents lived in, and it will be a completely different world that our kids live in. Like, that's just how the world works. And, like, a lot of people get scared. They're like, oh, the world's like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's because we don't get it anymore. We're not meant to get it anymore. The world that we existed in, it's not that world.
It is no longer about or for you.
You're right, exactly. You slowly become ghosts, just living ghosts. Like, that's all I am, is a living ghost of something that existed that doesn't exist anymore. And I just kind of understand that. Like, do the best to operate in it, and that's it. That's all you can do. All right, so moving on. Asylum 66. What? No boarding. How does this game have less features than Assassin's Creed that this is based on? My interest had dropped so far. Love boarding in the middle of a ship war, with cannons flying overhead as you duel the captain of the other ship. Okay. Again, my one big negative for Sea of Thieves, not Sea of Thieves, Skull and Bones, is there's no boarding. It sucks. I'm not going to argue with you on that. However, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, which you are speaking of, did not have multiplayer. It didn't have any multiplayer whatsoever as far as that is concerned. I mean, if you're going to add in multiplayer, some things have to be sacrificed, and it just doesn't make sense to do boarding in this capacity. It just doesn't. What I'm a little bit more upset about is less the boarding, and they could prove me wrong on this, is less the boarding and more just the doing shit on the islands stuff. You know, like I wanna be able to dock in an island and explore that island and look for treasure, and I want to be able to hunt animals on the island itself, or like take on people on the island. Like I'm okay with the boarding because the whole ship combat thing has that games as service element where there's other players and there's tons of ships and it's very chaotic. So boarding just doesn't make sense realistically to put it in there. But like I'm more upset that there doesn't seem to be any ground combat whatsoever. Like I would have liked ground combat on the land, or like cool stuff where you sneak into the forts and stuff like that, you know? Like I felt like that's a big miss for me.
Yeah, between those two things, I think it's the boarding of the ships themselves that I'm not like super upset that doesn't exist there. I mean, it did, believe me, it would absolutely be awesome to be able to do that. But yeah, like the whole being a pirate is like two things. It's sailing in the ocean and taking shit from people, and going on land and finding treasure. Yeah. Like those are the two things that make a pirate base.
It definitely seems to have the sailing in the ocean, taking shit from people down. Right. But we definitely don't have the exploration aspects of it.
Right. And that's like that. It's missing half of its identity. It almost feels like it's half baked, or they had intended on having that, but at some point, Ubisoft higher-ups were just like, look, you guys have been working on this thing for like 8 goddamn years. You got to get something out.
I don't think that's the case in this case. I don't think this is half-baked. No, here's what I think. I think originally they were making a 5v5 ship deathmatch game. That's what this thing was advertised as. That's what, like Call of Duty with boats. That's what this thing was originally advertised as, was it's going to be an arena game where you're in a boat and you've got a team of 5 and you take on another team of 5 in a boat. So almost like the versus element of Black Flags, like the versus that never made it into Assassin's Creed 4, basically. That's what this was originally added on. I think they were like, let's do more with this. And I think that's what happened, is this is all built on the foundation of a 5v5 boat versus boat arena game. And with that being said, I don't necessarily think it's half-baked. I think they added, like, this at its core is all about the boats and has always been about the boats. And everything else is stuff they've added to make it more interesting so that it doesn't have to be just that versus moment, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like, while I think it's a miss, I don't feel like, I mean, I don't feel like Ubisoft cut them off, because I feel like at this point Ubisoft gave them more than ample time. I feel like if they really wanted that in there, it would be in there somewhere. I just do. Like, they've had 8 years to work on this, you know? So I don't know. I don't think it was a cutoff thing. I think it's more like, if anything, to me, it feels like Ubisoft wanted more than they were originally going to give them. And we're like, you got to give us a whole big thing here, you know? Instead of just a 5v5 thing, you got to do an open world. That's what I feel more or less happened here. But that's just me. It's just me.
Yeah, I can see it.
It continues to be just me, because Backdraft chimes in with, sadly, a pirate game without the other aspects of being a pirate is insulting. All right, well, we're going to talk about that in a second. I want to be able to sail up to a village, wreck the defenses, run into town, and pillage my heart out. Or boost up someone's mast, board them, and fight till death and glory. Look, first of all, I want to do that too. That sounds really fun. I'm not going to argue with that, but it's not insulting. It's not insulting you that it's not in there. This is the game they're producing. It's not like they're promising something. Like, insulting would be them promising something to you and then not delivering. They've never promised on land anything with this game. It's not insulting. It's just not the game that you want out of a pirate game. That's all. Like, the language there is a little off. That being said, I think that, like, this might not be the pirate game for you. And that's completely fair, but I don't think they've never lied about what this game is. That's one of the things that I find so great about their reveal is, love or hate it, they were very honest about what it is, at least so far. I mean, if this game shows up and it's very different, that's fine. But, like, this is their reveal for this game, and it was very clear and concise on everything that, at least in my opinion, everything that was going to be in it.
I'm leaning more towards their direction with it being, I don't know if I would use such a strong word as insulting. Yeah. But I think I would lean more so like disappointing, because just like back to the conversation that we just had, you know, it's missing very important parts of being a pirate.
Right. Right.
It's so like pirate themed, and like, yeah, it's more like a skin of a pirate game than an actual pirate game from what it kind of feels like.
I don't know if I'd say that. That's a little bit too much to me right there. Like, it's still a pirate game. This couldn't be anything else. It's about pirates fighting pirates on the open water. Like, explain to me what this would be skinned as, like, other than this.
I mean, it could be like a navy, like Navy admirals or something like that instead of pirates. It could be, you know, the other way around, where like you're just the government basically trying to take out pirates.
I mean, I guess
you're not running around on beaches trying to find treasure. You're basically finding the pirates out on the open ocean and taking them out. At least that's the vibe that I get.
but that means that you're saying that a pirate game specifically has to have everything that involves being a pirate. I don't agree with that. I think a pirate game is about pirates, and this is a game about pirates. Like, there's not, like, if this game had no boats at all and it was just land based, if you're playing a pirate, it's a pirate game. It just doesn't have everything you want out of it. I mean, Sea of Thieves is kind of like that for me. Like, Sea of Thieves has everything. You can go on land, you can go in water, you can go everywhere. It doesn't have any NPC stuff, and I have to play with my friends. That's not what I want out of a pirate game, but I would never say that's not a pirate game because of that. Like, it's a pirate game. That's the genre, guys.
Well, I mean, I agree just because it doesn't have literally everything, but I would like at least like more than like 2 aspects of being a pirate.
I think you'd like that because there's no game that gives you everything of being a pirate. I don't think that's on Skull and Bones though. I think Skull and Bones is presenting exactly the product that they're trying to present. They're not lying about it. They're presenting what they're trying to produce. I think that this, because they've been taking a lot of flack for this, and I'm just kind of thinking to myself like especially the whole pirate thing. Like, just because you can't board doesn't make it not a pirate game. It's still a pirate game. It's 100% a pirate game. It's just a pirate game. It might not be for you or for Backdraft in this case, but like, it's still not insulting us. I think that people wanted more out of this because there's no real pirate game that does what we truly want out of a pirate game, which has all these aspects. I mean, there's just nothing out there that does that. And I think that we're putting a lot of pressure on Skull and Bones to be that when it can't possibly be that.
I mean, there's an important distinction to be made from like what you had just said too. Is like they're in no way false advertising.
Right.
They're very much presenting like this is what the game is going to be. ... But at the same time, like there is the idea of pirates. Well, what else do pirates do?
Right.
You're not getting all that stuff in this game. You're just getting the ship part of it. So I think that's the disconnect in it.
And I understand the disappointment. Like, I understand that like people want that. I totally get that. Like, I understand that point. I wanted that too. It's just I would never find it insulting, or I'd never call it not a pirate game. It's definitely a pirate game to me, and I would never find it insulting that the developers... I would find it much more insulting that a game does a 15-minute reveal of something and then immediately does an interview to point out all the things that they kind of lied about in the 15-minute reveal. That's something I find insulting.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, Ubisoft's a shit company too. There could definitely be some insults that we don't know about yet because we haven't played the game. But from the way this was presented, I'm kind of glad they didn't like overtly allude to more on-land stuff to overhype us, you know? Which is what Cyberpunk did also, you know? It would be this like, let us believe that it is what we want it to be, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's not and we hate it, you know?
Right.
All right, so final comment, here we go. Backdraft. As an OG Monster Hunter fan... As an OG Monster Hunter, I am offended. Well, you're an OG Monster Hunter. Of course you're offended. You're always offended. All OG Monster Hunters are. Yes, there's always a toxic element to any game, but pure, tried and true Monster Hunter fans are usually helpful and supportive. Okay, look. Backdraft, I know you personally. You're a nice dude. I don't necessarily think you were one of the thousands of people who jumped into my chat the minute they got a chance when I disagreed with their opinion in any way, shape, or form to call me many different terrible words. That being said, your community on a whole can suck my dick, and it can continue to suck my dick. I will continue to double down on this. They attacked me. I will attack them back. That's fine. You can be a part of them. I don't think that you would necessarily come after me, but if you want to stand up for them, that's your problem, man. Sorry. Okay. I think that wraps up fan interaction.
Sure.
Hey, look, I'm not going back on that. I'm not going to apologize for anything against the Monster Hunter people. They came after me first. They deserve everything they get. Sorry. Not going to do it. And you know what? I'm too old to care if people listen to this or not. It's just that. And what's crazy is our viewership lately has, like, doubled. Which is weird. Yeah, it's really weird. So, whatever. I'm going to speak my mind. All right, everybody. We are going to head over to our topic. Like I said, it's just going to be casual today. We're just going to talk about what we're playing right now and having fun with. And then we'll head into odds and ends. Maybe it'll be a short show. Who knows with us? Yeah. Hey, you laugh. We've had it happen a couple of times. Actually, a couple of times recently. So we'll be right back after this.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our talking point, which isn't really a talking point at all. We're just going to talk about what we're playing, what we're doing, just spiral into some fun casual speech, right? Like that's right. I guess that's the way to go, right? I mean, really, what it boils down to, guys, is as you've already heard. I thought I was going to be doing this show at noon this morning with my wife. And we were just going to do my odds and ends with her bouncing something off me. When I realized that me and Neil were doing this show, well, we didn't plan anything. So we're just here now in the aftermath of our poor planning. So what you playing right now, Neil? What are you having fun with?
Well, the main one is I believe I'm at the end of Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice! You went back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get to it, but it's like one of those things where, life. Yeah. Days off turn into chore days and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I have made a bit of a push in getting through it, partially because I tend to do this thing with the big open world games as I start doing I want to do every single side quest and everything that I can find. And then I start to do it. And usually if I'm able to do it, I will do it. But Horizon does this thing to where it'll let you pick up quests before you're leveled up enough to actually do them. Yeah. So then I started getting all these loose threads all over the place of early on, I was only level 10. I'm getting level 20 something quests thrown at me. I'll have to do that later. And then I just have this huge list. And it's you know what? I don't need to do all this stuff. I mean, they're done very well. Even the first Horizon did them in such a way that it never felt like it was just some worthless throwaway thing. One of the main companions that follows you around basically in this game was a side quest character from the first game. So it all kind of matters, but it's just gotten to the point to where it's I'm letting this be a roadblock for me from playing other games. So it's you know what? It's fine. I'll go ahead and get through it. Especially given the fact there's some stuff that I've been wanting to play otherwise, but Horizon is pretty good. I've heard that the very end of the game is kind of a letdown, and we will see. But it's one of those games that always feels like it's in the final chapter, and it's not.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like with how they're going about everything and how they're planning everything, it's just going to be another open-end sequel coming sort of Halo 2 situation. Yeah. Finish this fight bullshit. Which is a real bummer, and there's too many games that do that. I gotta be honest, man. Nowadays, more and more, the things that I look at are the indie games that I can count on an end from them.
Right, and that's what's weird too is the other game that I've been playing ludicrously is something that is the complete antithesis of everything that I enjoy. That I talk about, a game having a solid end with very structured, do this, and this. So I've just been absorbed into Stardew Valley.
Yeah, you've been telling me about that.
Kayla and I have been playing it constantly, and it's it's so much so that I actually even have it on my phone now, and I'll just randomly play it on my phone.
I love it when a game gets me like that, though.
Yeah, it's great because it's I can just do stuff.
Right.
That's all it is stuff. No,
right.
No, oh, you got to worry about Y, and Z. Granted, there's like the sections in the mines to where you actually have to worry about, taking damage. And then if you hit 0 HP, you'll pass out and lose some of your stuff.
Right.
But like outside of that, like it's just like go, fly, be free, do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. And it's like, yeah, cool, great. I don't either. I'm glad we're on the same page. And I just like grow some plants and catch some fish. Screw it.
For a guy who is always telling me how much he loves the narrative-driven story plot, and a guy who's always bashing me for my sandbox love, you're definitely playing one hell of a sandbox game right now.
Yeah.
So just want to point that out. Our hypocrisy knows no bounds. In this case, yours.
It's one of those, like, there's a bunch of different games that I'm like wanting to play that I haven't been able to, partially because I want to get through Horizon, because that's one of those games where I feel like if you get too far away from it, you like forget how to play completely, and you can't really get back into it. Like, I bought Devil May Cry 5 for the PS5 so I could play it at 120 frames on the TV. Like, I want to get through that because I still never finished that game. I still technically haven't finished Halo Infinite. The campaign on that. And then, like, now that they have, like, we have the ability to do so, Kayla and I have talked about going through the Halo 5 campaign because we went through all the other campaigns, and they're test flighting the co-op for Infinite right now too, so sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, why not? Have fun with that. Boycott Halo. #.
So what have you really been glommed onto?
Okay, so right now I've been glommed onto 2 major games right now. One of them is WWE 2K22. And before everybody out there collectively groans, which you probably already have, I don't play this game the right way. I don't play this game like everybody's like, oh, it's buggy or it's this. I don't ever learn the buttons in these games. Not once have I since. I think SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was the last one I actually played. Everyone after that, here's what I do. I create my own league in it, and then I just watch the shows and book it. Like, that's all I'm doing. So WWE 2K22, I am in the final throes of creating a full brand that I can then take into Universe Mode, because they have these amazing creations. Have you ever played any of these?
I think the last time I played any wrestling game was on the Nintendo 64.
Okay. So it's been a while.
It's been a very long time.
So one of the aspects of 2022 or the 2K wrestling games that make it so good is they always have these huge, awesome creation suites. And they also have Universe Mode. They've had that for a few years now. What Universe Mode is you put together your own show, you put together your own belts, your own division, everything. And then basically each week, based on some statistical tables you put in, it procedurally generates matches and rivalries. So like cutscenes will happen in it, everything will happen in it. So you can like actually build out your own show and then just watch it, see what happens with the show, like a science experiment. What I want to do this time around, if I can find time, is actually stream it. So stream so people can watch with me, like the show itself. But yeah, so what this is usually meant for is like you get to each episode kind of tailor make and play which matches you want sort of thing while there's actually a story going on. What I do is I delete all the other shows. I create one of my own shows from scratch this year, to the point where I actually created opening credits within the game to the show. And then I put all my created wrestlers in that. I put my created titles in that. And I delete all other shows. So that's just my show. And then I play through it, which I think is just awesome. Like that's the kind of wrestling game I want. So I kind of use this to tailor make it to that. And that's what I've been working on. Just belts, the show arenas, the wrestlers, all the stuff, because it gets very in-depth and you have to create the tag teams and the entrances and all sorts of other things. So I've been doing that a lot, and then I've been switching off to Naraka Blade Point. I've been gotten back into, because Some buddy of mine have been playing it. Specifically, shout out to Asylum 66. He is a very good Naraka Blade Point player. And we play duos, and we actually win a good amount of our games, which is a lot of fun to actually play with somebody that's good. And yeah, we've been playing a lot of Naraka. I've been playing a lot of Naraka. My skill, I don't know that my skill has actually increased, or it's just the influx of the Games Pass people and the console people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I suddenly am very good, only because I have a cursory intelligence of how to play it. But that's the other one I've been playing. Yeah, those have been my things. But that's what I do with the wrestling game. I'm also using it. What I want to do is for UHW, I want to make an actually opening credits with our, because I created all our UHW wrestlers in there, all of them. They're all in there already. I already showed you yours.
Yeah.
UHW, for anybody who hasn't listened in the last like 5 weeks, is the live play game for the first episode should be on our channel by the time you're watching or listening to this. But for the actual tabletop RPG that I'm producing, and Neil's one of the playtesters, but I created all of our created wrestlers already. That's already in there. So I want to create like and edit together a theme song, and then I want to use the pictures of the digital WWE wrestlers that I created next to us while we're playing. So it's not just the picture of our cards. You can see the picture of the characters, who are fighting.
That's a good idea.
Yes, it's ridiculous that I put so much into this, but yeah, that's what I do with that game. I don't think I've ever my first thing is to go into the settings and turn off all the HUDs so that it looks more like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Naraka. The other things I've been playing a little bit of is Fall Guys, because my kid will play that a little bit. And then she actually beat WarioWare. It's the first game she's ever beaten. WarioWare, Get It Together, I beat it with her, which was exciting.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers their first game that they beat.
Yeah, I don't know if she will, 'cause she's 6, but yeah.
Oh, you never know.
You never know.
If I remember correctly, I was about 6 when I beat my first game, and it was Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. I remember very distinctly when I actually beat it, getting super hype, running into the bathroom where my mom was currently doing something with her hair, letting her know that I beat it, and her feigning all of the excitement in the world.
So I remember the first game I ever beat, too, and it was a real special one for me, too, because my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, is just better at games than me, like actually playing them. And basically, what would happen when we were younger, because we kind of lived in rural areas, so we would have to actually rent Nintendos or Super Nintendos. We didn't actually own them. You'd have to go to a video store back in the day, and you'd have to like put a deposit down. And then for a weekend, you got to take one of their Super Nintendos or Nintendos home with like a couple of games and play them, and then you have to bring them back. So what would end up inevitably happening, because we were always on these rent schedules, is we'd both start playing, taking turns, and then my brother would get farther, but we both wanted to see the ending, so I would just sacrifice
the rest
and let him do it so that I could see it. So very rarely did I beat any games. There's one game that he had to do it, that he had to sacrifice and let me beat it, and that was DuckTales for the Nintendo. It was the first game I ever beat, and I was the one who managed to get farther than him for the first time ever. And then he was like, okay, you beat it. So I beat DuckTales, and I remember because it was the morning that we were supposed to take it back. It was in the summer, and it was Monday, and we had to have it back by like noon. And it was like, so we woke up early so that I could try and finish it, and I beat it at like 9:15 a.m., like right under the bell, you know? So I was like, yes, I did it. But yeah, it was the first game I ever beat was DuckTales. I do remember that. I do remember that fondly. So you might be right. Yeah. But she did. She played it, and we went through the whole thing together. And I got to say, that game is fucking weird. I don't know that I would ever play that game by myself. It's like being in a Japanese television commercial.
Yeah, I have one of the ones for GameCube upstairs, and they are very bizarre. They are absolutely bizarre.
So bizarre.
But They are a good chaotic time when you have the right people playing them.
Well, Stella's the right person. I think WarioWare is how my kid's brain works. So, like, what's weird is she loves the game. She loves it so much, she's constantly watching clips of it on her YouTube Kids. Like, people just playing other versions of WarioWare. Like the old DS and GameCube ones.
Yeah.
And she's just obsessed with WarioWare. But yeah, she beat it. She beat the whole thing. We even did the extra, like, end part, got all the characters unlocked, everything. It was, something else. So,
yeah, I'm trying to just get through a couple things because, like, I know, like, there's gonna be God of War coming out this year. The Final Fantasy Crisis Core remake coming out this year.
Okay, all right, that might. God of War ain't coming this year, man. It's not coming this year. I understand that you're like, yeah, it's supposed to, so I'm gotta prepare to play it, but it's not coming this year, man.
The only reason I'm really thinking it's going to is because we didn't know that it even existed up until this point, and they're announcing it now when it's basically done, theoretically. I don't think...
doesn't give me confidence that it's finished, man. There's no real gameplay of this game. We've seen nothing of this game. It's an idea of a game. It's Starfield.
We saw gameplay.
We saw
We saw gameplay of it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll pizza bet you it's not coming this year. I was serious about that last week. I'm serious about it this week. I'll pizza bet you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come.
Okay. You want to put it down? You make it official? Pizza bet?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Right. Haven't done a pizza bet in a while. This will be the tie-breaking pizza bet, if I recall correctly. We're one apiece for pizza bet, but let it be known. Let it be known here and it's episode 150, I think. That's our special 150th event because we do the pizza bet. The pizza bet is back on. If the pizza bet does not come, if God of War Ragnarok does not come in 2022, Neil owes me a pizza. If it comes before 2022, which it won't, but if it does, I will have to buy Neil a pizza. That's how the pizza bet works. We have had 2 pizza bets on this show so far, if I recall correctly. I do not remember the subjects of these pizza bets. Do you?
No.
But they were both fulfilled on air, if I recall correctly.
They were both fulfilled on air. Yes.
So we are dead even, I believe.
Well, I mean, I was referring to both of these anyways, but like what I was saying, what I was primarily talking about was like the Final Fantasy Crisis Core remake. That one there, like we didn't know that it was coming at all, and then it just like showed up, and then like I said, it had gameplay and everything with it. And then God of War Ragnarok. I saw a little thing. I guess this could be like an odds and ends sort of thing. Apparently, they had a canceled announcement that it was going to share a release date with Starfield initially. Which I don't know. I don't know if that would.
Now neither one of them are gonna share.
Neither one of them.
All right. So are those the 2 you're most excited about for the rest of this year?
You know what? There's one other one, and it's not even officially announced. Just because the fucking rumors are back, I want that Metroid Prime trilogy. So goddamn. I've been talking about this thing for like 3 fucking years, but I also have said too that they kind of have to capitalize on the hype from Dread.
Yeah.
To help push it along to get everybody satiated in the lead up to Prime 4, which, let's be real, Prime 4 at this point,
who knows?
I think it's still 3 years away.
Look, I've said this, when we talked about this either last week or the week before, and I'll double down. I think Nintendo needs some goodwill too. I don't think they've had a lot of great wins lately. I mean, the Kirby game was a big win, but other than that, what else has come out for Nintendo that's really knocked people out? Plus, they don't really have anything coming. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that's it. Like,
well, I mean,
so
I guess I can
Plus, they
burn
got
one
a
of my-
lot of like really shitty HR stuff going on right now. You know,
Right. I mean, I guess I can burn one of my odds right here since we're kind of talking about it. But I mean, Nintendo does have Bayonetta 3 coming
That's
October
true.
28th this year. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
they just
I did
announced
forget
that.
about. Yeah, they did.
Now, whether or not that's gonna be big for them for sure.
Yeah,
Because it's a pretty popular series
Yeah.
for them.
yeah, it is.
So Bayonetta 3 is going to be coming. That's going to be something for them. But
It's definitely
like
not
you
my
said,
cup of tea, but it's gonna get people going. I think.
I don't know why I've never played it. I feel
Yeah,
like
it
it's
seems
right
like it
up my
is.
alley.
Because it's like a
right
Devil
up
May
my
Cry
alley.
type thing,
It
man.
literally, it's like
Yeah.
the same exact thing.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, I don't know why I've never played it. But yeah, that's the thing is Nintendo doesn't really super have a lot coming out. They're one big, massive, heavy hitter that doesn't have a fucking name still, and I hate that I still have to call it the Breath of the Wild sequel. It got pushed, to next year, and still we never even really had a super solid release date for it to begin with. So
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, it doesn't even have a name.
Agreed.
So, like, for whatever reason, they're keeping it under wraps. But that is going to be one of those things that whenever it does come out, that's going to be huge. But one thing that basically everybody who had a Nintendo was banking on was that. I mean, they have the new Pokemon games coming. I don't know if that's this
They
year or
have
next
talked
year.
about it. I don't think it's this year. On the subject of the new Pokemon games, there is something that kind of excites me about that. They have up to 4-player co-op through the campaign on that. That's been a feature that was announced on that. That would get me really into it, and that would definitely make me potentially think about purchasing it just to play it with my daughter who does like Pokemon. But unfortunately, Pokemon usually is a more like text-heavy thing that she can't really play on her own. Whereas with this, we could actually play it together. I could take care of reading the text and still be entertained by the game itself, So, but yeah, they got 4-player co-op coming, so in their next edition. So that's actually interesting. I know Sword and Shield was not great. I'm
Arceus didn't even blow the doors off like
No,
everybody was going
Arceus
to.
still looked really interesting. It's just I feel like they did a lot of misses with Arceus once I started to, because Arceus was one that I was like, I might actually purchase this one.
Yeah.
Like I was interested, and I think that some of the capturing mechanics that they had in it was really cool, but like overall as a game, like there was so many other misses once I looked through like the stuff that I'm like, that's not going to be the one to get me on board. Do you know what game I'm most excited for? You should be able to guess, but you know what game I'm most excited for to the rest of this year?
I should be able to guess, but I'm drawing a blank right now.
Midnight Fight Express, baby.
Yes.
Indie brawler that looks absolutely beautiful, completely interesting, completely unique. I cannot wait for this game, August 23rd, and I'm going to be streaming every second of that fucking thing because I'll be just about done with Shredder's Revenge at that point. So, honestly, probably the people watching are sick of Shredder's Revenge probably at this point because I've gone through the game probably like I think 3 times now on stream because it takes me about one stream of Amateur Hour to get through half of one of the characters. But it's the same levels over and over again for like a small cutscene at the end. So like I'm just playing through it with a different character each time. So like I've been through that game 3 times now. And I'm gonna keep going. Huzzah! Yeah, I should be just about done with that. I can't wait for that game. I think that game looks so cool. All right, let's head on over to odds and ends. What do you say?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our third segment, our final segment. That is odds and ends, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we collect smaller stories that don't necessarily deserve a talking point or aren't big enough to carry a full 40-minute conversation. We just tell you guys about them. We riff about them. We talk about them, whatever. We get it going. I think I have 6 or 7, depending.
All right.
So, how many you got, man?
I am at 3.
Oakley dokley. So, shit, I can't check the Discord while I'm on the call. That is frustrating. Okay. Just froze you for a sec. No, now you're back. All right.
All right.
Technical difficulties. That's all on me. It's all on me. All right. Well, I'll start us off then. I'll take us
All
first. I'm going to tell you about the thing that really got me excited. Although it does check a couple of the pisses off Zach boxes, but still, just overall, what it is kind of got me excited.
Okay.
So, this last weekend was TennoCon. TennoCon being the convention for Warframe guys, Warframe players, Warframe gals. That's their big convention where they announce their own. Sorry, everybody. Sorry again, everybody.
Bless you.
Yeah, sorry. I can't quick mute my mic, but all right. So, as I was saying, they announced a few things. Obviously, the new DLC, the new thing for Warframe, which, first of all, Bali to Warframe, man. They have been going for how long? Still strong. Like, that game is a testament to games as service. Like, if you're making a list of games as service games that work, that aren't predatory, that are beloved, like, Warframe is in the conversation for number one, you know?
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, Digital Extremes actually announced their first brand new IP since Warframe itself. They're making a new game, and it is called Soulframe, and it is going to basically be a medieval fantasy version of Warframe. God, it looks interesting. On the subject of checking boxes that piss me off, there was no release date. No release time, no gameplay, just a cinematic reveal. Basically, a 5-minute cinematic reveal trailer. That pisses me off, guys. Come on, be better. Be better. Don't tell us about it until you have a game here, because this could get canceled. This could not exist. But aside from that, I'm still find myself very excited about this. I mean, I think Warframe is a cool game. It is a really cool game. It's very strange, but it's very cool. It's very unique. They do games of service really well, and I think the actual game director of Warframe stepped down from doing Warframe to do this one. So this is the original like Warframe team doing this too, but they're doing their take on fantasy, and that just sounds so interesting to me. The other thing that really intrigues me about this is one of the big disconnects for me in Warframe was the fact that I didn't get on the Warframe train until it was about, like 10 years old at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, so the problem with it is while I did play it a lot, I have a lot of hours sunk into that game, I never felt quite as connected to the source material as other players who's been playing it from the beginning, who had really experienced the story evolution, so to speak. With that said, I'm really kind of excited to be part of this one from the start,
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's something to be said for that. Like you'd mentioned, like with a long running game being there for the whole thing, somebody jumping in the middle of something, like, sure, you'll be able to play it and enjoy it, but it hits different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it really does. And it really keeps you invested, and it keeps you with the characters. Like, especially with how complex and in-depth the Digital Extreme guys go on their storyline. When I started playing Warframe, I actually tried to get into Warframe 2 different times and failed just because I totally didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Finally, the last time, I went to one of those YouTube videos on the leaderboard that's just like the story so far for Warframe. And it was just a 10-minute thing that explained the incredibly complex history of the game. And then I was able to, like, connect a little bit better. But, like, there was just so many things. It's like, what is happening? I have no fucking idea. But, yeah. So, now I have 5.
Go ahead with another one.
Okie dokie. Let's go with a super fucking weird one.
Okay.
This group of griefers held a streamer hostage in League of Legends for over 3 hours. And then she got a penalty from League of Legends for being AFK. Basically what they did is with League of Legends, with a lot of multiplayer online games, if you leave the game, right, you get a penalty. Like your reputation goes down or something. It's to keep people from like jumping in and jumping out and screwing other people up on teams.
Right.
This Korean streamer, let me see if I can't find her name. Because I actually have the story. This is the other one that I was looking up. This Korean streamer basically, she logged in, went in with just an unknown team, a rando team, but the other people on her team were in with the other team. So what they did is they just stopped doing things, stepped back, and let the other team kill her over and over again to get points. And basically what happens is, even though she's good, the other team is however big it is, and she has no backup, so they're just killing her. And the way MOBAs work is it's not about kills, it's about like taking a point or destroying a point or a tower or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't do it. So basically what happens is they just locked her into this stream where they just kill her over and over again, and she can't get out, and they get reputation from it. And she can't leave because her reputation, she would get a penalty. Her name is Kim Cool So-hyun is her name. And basically what happens is, these stream sites, she basically eventually just stopped playing and just kind of sat back and started singing to her streamers. She never left the stream. She was like singing to her streamers and talking to them and telling jokes while they just killed her over and over and over again for 3 hours. And finally they got bored of it and walked away. And she got a penalty basically because she went away from the keyboard while they were killing her. Like, she gave up on trying, realizing what was happening. So League of Legends penalized her for not playing, basically.
That's some stupid shit.
It's really stupid. And League of Legends hasn't gone back on it, even though the stream is up and the proof of this evidence happening is there for them to review. They haven't taken this penalty away. She got suspended for it for like so many days or something, which is just insane to me that these people did this to her, and then she got stuck with this suspension, and they haven't lifted it because of this. And you would think with the proof that it would be very clear that it wasn't her, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some games that a lot of games actually like to do like penalties and stuff like that for quitting and stuff like that. Street Fighter actually had a disconnect rate percentage when you matched up with somebody.
Okay.
So it would actually show you the percentage chance that they're going to stay in the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because you'll know sometimes right out of the gate when you're if you see anybody that's like 80% or lower, you know for a fact if you're whipping ass, you're going to start a round and it's just going to sit there and load and say that the player left the game in the middle of it.
Right.
So like you get that, and then Halo Reach, I believe it was Reach is when it started. If you quit too many games in a row within a certain window, you actually get a warning. And if you quit one more time after that, it bans you from matchmaking for 15 minutes.
That's how For Honor does it. If you drop out purposely of a For Honor game, like you hit the quit button, like it won't do this if you get disconnected or anything, but if you like go in and hit quit, basically it'll be like you can't play anything for 30 minutes. You're done. Like that's their response to things. So I mean, in this case, she got banned for. I mean, it's a similar ban. The problem is you have to have these regulations in there especially for like ranked play and Major League Gaming stuff. Like you have to have that stuff in there for people to want to have fun. Otherwise, people will just drop out. They'll just rage quit every time. But at the same time, like this is obviously somebody was doing something terrible to them. And those people should be banned, not her. And there's visual proof of it that this should be lifted. You know,
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick thank you to Jason from our Discord. He is the one who turned me onto that story. Just letting you know. Giving a shout out to the man on the street.
So I'm going to go ahead and do one of mine here.
Sure.
And mine have been very Nintendo centric, actually. We already talked about the one earlier. But this one here, with absolutely no warning at all whatsoever, the Nintendo Wii eShop suddenly was turned back on.
What?
Yeah. Now,
Ooh.
you can't make new purchases, but anything that you have purchased in the past, you can re-download.
That's pretty cool. I wonder how long that's going to last.
Yeah, I don't see it as something that is going to be permanent. I mean, to be completely honest, I don't know if it was even done on purpose. I almost wonder if it was like an accident or something.
I mean, that's the way it should be, though. They should never take that shit away. And Nintendo's really terrible about this stuff and making you buy Mario Brothers 1,000 fucking times over. Just leave that service up until nobody's playing Wii anymore, you know?
Yeah, and like, especially for those people who like want to get those games that they had before and everything like that. Now, it makes sense, I guess, to some degree that they wouldn't turn on purchasing. At this point, it's such an old console, licensing rights, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure they'd have to cut new deals with everything. I get it. But things that have been previously purchased can be re-downloaded. And that on its own is big enough because with a lot of digital distribution, that's the thing. I mean, if you even look at Apple, like whenever you get a new device, like a new iPhone or something like that, you go to sign in with your Apple ID. And if you ever made a purchase with somebody else's Apple ID attached to the phone or anything along those lines, if you do not have that sign-in information, you have a one shot at that point to get the licensing for it to be able to use it. If you don't have that information, it's just gone. Like you don't get a chance. They like make you buy it again.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's terrible. It's a terrible fucking practice. And I'm glad that it's back up. Hopefully it stays up for a good amount of time. For at least long enough for people to get their games back, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to do another one? Or you want to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This is a quick one. Very nervous about this game, but I kind of want to play it. I'm kind of excited to try it. And this game has already had like some developmental, I'm nervous sort of situations. But Rumbleverse, the wrestling close combat styled battle royale from Epic Games, has a release date now, free to play, August 11th. So just a quick revisory history, because I know you remember the name.
I remember the game too, because I remember it was something that you had mentioned that you were very intrigued about.
Yeah, I'm very excited with it. I like a good battle royale, and this is a close combat battle royale, which there's not a ton of, and it's wrestling themed, which I enjoy. But this game actually had a server test or whatever back in like February or January. So we all thought it was coming out, like it was supposed to come out much sooner. It was like, I think it was scheduled for like a March release. They had this test and then they delayed it inevitably. And we were like, uh-oh, that game's probably gone forever. And then all of a sudden it's popped back up and they're like, it's coming out on August 11th. They did all these like videos of streamers, popular battle royale streamers that they invited in to play it, you know, to show some crazy moments from the game. Still looks really interesting, really cool. I'm kind of excited to try it, but I'm also leery of the fact that this game was delayed inevitably and now it has a release date, you know?
Because like completely out of the blue.
When was the last time a network stress test was enough to delay a game inevitably? I can't remember one time, and that happened. So I'm very nervous about this, but still, I'm kind of eager to try it. So August 11th, I'm definitely going to jump in it give it a shot. I don't know if I'm gonna stream it. I don't know what that day is, honestly. But yeah, definitely gonna give it a shot.
Well, I'm going to move on here with one of mine.
Okay.
I already talked about that. In keeping with the Nintendo theme, Nintendo has apparently acquired a studio.
Okay, say that one more time. You cut out right at the important part.
Nintendo has acquired its own anime studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is buying Dynamo Pictures, which is going to be rebranded Nintendo Pictures. And they have actually done stuff like work on Dragon Ball. So
Okay.
they've done things notable. It makes me wonder what it is that Nintendo plans on doing with it. Are we gonna get like, because the Castlevania anime series went over so well on Netflix, surely, Konami's the holder of the rights, but Nintendo has to have some sort of say in it to some degree, I believe. I could be completely wrong
I
on
think
that at
we'll
this
get
point,
something
though.
else. And I mean, what if they used it to kind of do things with their properties that they haven't done anything with? Like, what if you get an F-Zero anime?
Oh, that'd be a great ass anime.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
Like, what if they
God.
use that to create, like, okay, so we can't make games out of this. Why don't we make animes out of it and produce some sort of substance? You could have an F-Zero anime. You could have some of their other defunct games that they haven't done in a while,
Yeah, I dig it.
I mean, or they could just do more Mario shit. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
loves that,
Yeah.
I'd love a Star Fox anime. I mean, I don't even like anime, and I'd probably check that out.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, also, Nintendo, just a side note, I'd like a new Star Fox game. That's good. That's good. Keyword on good. Good. All right, so back to me. I'm going to do this one. This is less than odds and ends and more just something I saw that I thought was cool. Something that actually is interesting about VR, though kind of weird in the space that it's at. But there is a game coming out for it called All On Board. Basically what it is it's a game that's going to be mod driven for board games. And the idea is you put on your VR headset and you actually play the board game with your friends, whatever it is, cards, whatever. And then it's kind of like Tabletop Simulator, where like people just mod in, like, okay, this is Warhammer in this, and this is Magic the Gathering in this, and that sort of thing.
God,
so
yes.
Yeah, and so like the idea behind it is you could just play those in this game and actually move the pieces where you want and stuff. I think this is a really cool, interesting use of VR. I'm going to say that before I'm negative. I think that this is a really cool, interesting use of VR. This is a use for VR that I would be interested in. That being said, stiff price tag to play board games with friends. Like you.
Yeah.
Like, and you would have to have all your friends have the VR headsets, and I only know like 2 people in the world who have VR headsets in my life, so I don't know how many people you could wrestle up to play Monopoly with,
That's true.
Like, hey guys, we can play Warhammer 40K digitally. You guys all just have to spend $400 on an Oculus Rift. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Fun fact, that's the same amount of money that you need to start playing the game in general in life. So,
for Warhammer, yeah, 100%.
Even some stuff, like the second you said that, I'm like, ooh, D&D, because I love me some D&D, but like even still, like I've got so many books. I've got like the supplemental like cards for, like, instead of having to open up the player's handbook to find the spells, to just have these cards that they sell. Like,
right.
I've dumped like that much money into D&D as it is anyway, and then what to spend another, like, that is for people who either have too much money or have never gotten into the thing anyways.
Yeah.
And this is where they want to go ahead and get into the thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm down to 2. How many you got left?
I got 1 left, so I'm just going to go through it right now. And this one is super awesome.
Okay.
So there's a teacher on Reddit that is claiming that they will be using 20 Xbox Series S consoles as well as a Switch and a PS5 to teach an English lit class. How, you may ask? Apparently, he plans on using the stories told in the games as pieces of work to analyze narratives.
Nice.
Apparently, he has also presented this to the school board in Oregon and has received funding for it. So
Good.
there's some kids out there who are going to get to play games.
Have a really fun time. Well, and I think that that's good. That's not even just good for those kids. It's good for gaming as a whole because it helps it be taken seriously as a narrative art form. You know, as how to tell a story. Because I think, like I've said repeatedly, one of the things that attracts me to games is it is completely unique on how it tells the story and interacts with the person receiving the information, because you're part of it. And that's something that no other real story can give you, realistically, you know? And I think that, that's one of the things that I love about video games in that art form. So that's really cool that he's teaching that. I wish you had ended on that, because my two don't beat that at all. The first one is Skate 4, I think the number is.
Yeah, I saw this.
Some information came out about it. The skateboarding game Skate, it is getting a sequel, but it will not be called Skate 4. It will just be called Skate Again, to confuse you, because there was already a Skate. It already happened many years ago, but now there will be another Skate. However, even more weirder on this is it's free to play. It's going to be a free to play game that you can download. I am insanely confused on what this game is now, because Skate was just like a skateboarding game. It was like a Tony Hawk. Like that's what it was. It was a single player Tony Hawk, sometimes versus or whatever. But it wasn't like is this a MMO now, skateboarding game? Because that's interesting. I'd be interested about it, but they haven't really announced that, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm not quite certain what the deal is with that. I don't even know what the game itself could be.
Well, obviously it's skateboarding.
I mean,
but what?
What? Exactly what? Like, it's a free to play. It was primarily, like you said, single player. I mean, are you getting grouped up in teams of 4?
Yeah.
And just do as many tricks as you can to get a higher score than the other team, I guess.
Well, and how many free to play games can you think of that aren't multiplayer?
Right.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one. And while I'm sure Skate would have multiplayer anyway, I would never consider Tony Hawk and Skate to be multiplayer focused game, you know?
Yeah, they're definitely not. Well, yeah, I don't know. The old Tony Hawk games, I think that they did have a decent focus on multiplayer, but that was strictly just 1v1 versus.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people played those games that way, head to head with somebody else. But at the same time, those really only worked with one other person at the same time.
Yeah.
If they expand it out to have 30 dudes in the same area, you get the same 2 minutes to do as many tricks as you can. Eventually, everybody knows what's going to happen. There's going to be a right way to go through the level to maximize your points. So everybody's just going to be doing the same shit.
Can I tell you what I think they should do with this? If it is multiplayer focused, but I don't know that they are gonna, I think they should make it like the Forza series, where you have just the other players kind of skating around. You can challenge them to matches, or they can actually take the place in certain events, you know. Mm-hmm. You can win equipment off of them and stuff. I think that would be really cool if they did that, because Forza is very, especially now, it's very story light It's more like just like there's a bunch of things, go and do a thing, and then go do another thing, you know, and there's people around and you can do the things with them or not. And I think that they could do that with this, which would be really interesting. Like I said, I'm not necessarily against this. I don't think anybody's really done it, like just a kind of free-for-all multiplayer skateboarding game. I don't think anybody's really done that. But at the same time, there's no messaging on this, and I don't know why it would be like the free to play in it now makes me very confused as to what it is. You know?
Right.
Final one. I don't think you're very excited about this. I think you're kind of against this game. I'm not sure, but either way, I believe July 19th is the release date for Multiverses, which is the WB Smash Brothers games. I believe it's free to play, and there's been mixed reactions on the internet. Some people think this looks stupid. Other people think it looks like the future. You know, I will say it looks better than that Nickelodeon mess that came out recently. But that being said, I don't know if it's Smash Brothers or even a Brawlhalla style like level of whatever it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not into those kind of fighting games. I've played them here and there. They're fun. They're not the thing that I go heavy for, you know. But I know you are very into Smash Brothers. Will you be trying this when it comes out?
Maybe. I think it's one of those that I need to see a review first, because the Nickelodeon one, remember when they had announced it and it was coming, I'm like, I had my eye on it to some degree. And then it came out and it was just a god-awful, just a slapdash, like, hey, we know that we're ripping off Smash Brothers. We're just slapping Nintendo shit on here. It needs to bring something new to be able to go up against Smash Brothers, because that's the problem with all of those games is Smash is Smash, and it is high upon the mountain.
Yeah.
Because it's like the only thing like it.
Yeah.
The thing is, all these other, you know, like I said, the Nickelodeon tried to do it, but they tried to do it in just a plain copy that's immediately going to draw comparison to Smash.
So let me ask you a question. Multiverses. What?
Okay.
You said what's his name? What's its name?
Well, I was going to say the same. No, I was going to say the same also went for the, what was it? Sony PlayStation All-Star Brawl Battle, whatever it was.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, I remember that.
A long time ago, but that was the thing is it's just Smash, but like also had like weird, difficult rules that didn't like make any sense at the same time. So like, Beautiful Joe even had one.
Yeah.
Same situation. They've all just copied the formula.
Here's the thing. There is one game that didn't just straight copy the formula and did its own thing. It's free to play, and it is successful, and that's Brawlhalla. And I think that one of the things that you need to do, the problem with the Nickelodeon one, in my opinion, is they didn't commit to making a good game. They committed to making a Smash Brothers game with Nickelodeon characters. Because of that, they just kind of like, well, we'll just do the formula and we'll put our characters in. And then it wasn't good. It wasn't crisp. It didn't have that good feel to it that Smash Brothers or even Brawlhalla brings to it. Brawlhalla is a very different game from Smash Brothers, even though it is the same basic mechanic. It's 2D from the side. You're on platforms. You're trying to do enough damage. Each time you do damage, it throws the person farther, and you want to throw them off the stage. It's the same basic mechanic, but Brawlhalla with its 2 weapons, it's simpler, straightforward, like more mainstream power-ups. You know, it's heavier combo style play. It's a different beast. You know, it's a different game. It is a very different game from Smash, but it's in the same genre. That's what Multiverses needs to do. It needs to not try to just be a Smash Brothers game with different characters that Nintendo doesn't own. It needs to be its own game in that genre. I think if it does, it'll be good. But if it doesn't, it's just going to be the Nickelodeon one all over again. Mm-hmm. We'll say it's free to play, though. It's worth trying, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. That's it. That's it for the odds and ends. You want to plug this thing, get done?
Sure.
All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Oh, all right, everybody. That brings us to the end of the show, for better or for worse, and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, anything special you want to plug, sir?
I'm doing the wrestling show.
He
I do the
is.
wrestle.
He's in the first episode.
Yeah. So I did the first episode and just critical injury right
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it if they haven't seen it.
Well, you don't know why. You don't know why.
Yeah, you did have a rough time. It's good though. Yeah, the wrestling show. It goes live on Saturdays on the Axiom Games YouTube. But it will go live here on Tuesdays after the Saturdays. So you'll be able to see it in either place. More eyes will be on it. So if you're listening to this, not watching this, it will go live. It's already live right now. And if you're watching this, it was live yesterday on Old Man Gaming. But it's been live on since Saturday on our game channel. But yeah, I'm going to promote that. I'm also going to promote something else that's already announced by the time this comes on. But we've moved up the release date of our game, Upper Hand. We are going to be releasing it on August 6th. August 6th.
I didn't know this.
It was a decision made today. so August 6th. August 6th will be our new release date. I am also going to do a day-long stream, just about. I'm going to get on the game channel, not Old Man Gaming, but the game channel, and I will be watching episodes of UHW with you guys, trying to get people to come in and play with me from the playtesters group, whatever I can do, answering questions, telling you where to get it, just being online for as long as humanly possible to make people aware of this game. So yeah, so Neil, just let me know if you want to be a part of that, man, even if it's just for like a half an hour. No, I haven't.
Know you moved it up.
You are literally the first person that knows outside of my wife and my partner. So so we decided to move it up. So yeah, so exciting times. I am about to be a games publisher. Yay.
I'm very excited for you.
Thank you. I'm very excited for me too. I'm very excited. And I'm very excited because we're working on something after this, which is going to be like an open source core game with the cards so that people can, as long as they get our okay, publish games for our game. So I'm very excited. It's going to be fun times. That being said, as far as what I'm doing on this channel, Stella's show, Season 2, is continuing on Saturdays. Sundays, Prelude to Divorce, obviously, chugging away. And then, yeah, doing my streams. You guys can see my streams. Those are a lot of fun. Other than that, you guys can contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. And, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as long as you keep watching this, keep making them. So all you have to do is stop.
It's all it'll take.
It's all it takes.
It's all it takes.
We'll see you guys next time. Probably. I had the other day, this is a really gross story, so I'm going to tell it.
Ooh, excellent.
So yesterday we went out to sister-in-law's birthday out at my father-in-law's camper. We spent all day there, came home exhausted, tired, go to get in the shower, clean up, turn off the shower, look down, see that in the water that's going down the drain is tinted red. I'm like, that's weird. That's very weird. Why is that tinted red? Then I looked down and realized that my legs are covered in blood. Just covered in blood. Then I realize my hands are covered in blood.
What the fuck?
Oh, I know. Like, my mind was racing because I'm like, I'm not in pain. Where is this coming from? And of course, water makes bleeding look way worse than it actually is. It always does.
Yeah.
But I had cut my hand over here on my tobacco tin. That's a whole nother story. But so I thought that had opened. I immediately look at it. No blood coming from there. Where is the blood coming from? So I panic a little bit because I don't know what to do. I can't find the spot where I'm bleeding. So I have to yell to my wife, who's out in the living room with my daughter, who immediately gets curious. I'm like, I need you to come here. I need you to unlock the door with the key above the the door rim. I need you to come in, and only mommy, no Stella. Stella, stay out. So Melissa comes in. She looks me over. She finds out it's coming from my ball sack.
What?
Yeah. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if I had a bump there or something and it came off, or I don't know, because it didn't hurt, but it was literally like spurting blood out of the bottom of my scrotum. Just spurting blood into the water.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. And I'm like, what? It doesn't hurt. It's the most painful part of a male body. It does not hurt. I don't know why or when this happened. So I had to hold a rag on it, and it just wouldn't stop bleeding. Finally,
Yeah.
I got it weak enough to the point where I just put on some like underwear over it, and I ended up by the end of the day bleeding through them and my pajamas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's fine today. There's no problem today, nothing whatsoever.
Maybe that's something you might want to like. I wouldn't say like go all the way to the doctor for it, but just do a quick Google search.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I am definitely not going to Google search bleeding scrotum. For a couple of reasons. Number one,
reasons, I
don't want to see that picture. Number two, nothing it tells me is going to be anything less than you're about to die. When I'm guessing there was like a skin tag or something that I didn't know about. I got it off of my exfoliating soap and it just started bleeding and wouldn't stop. I don't know. Like it was weird because I'm just sitting in the bathroom bleeding. And I'm like, I don't know how to fix this. Melissa's like, I don't know how to fix this. Like, you can't put a Band-Aid on that. Like,
no.
Yeah, so that's my fun bleeding story.